welcome to my channel. Hope so you will enjoy the little tutorials. Let's watch it.
I was practicing free motion quilting a lot, and I have discovered a few tips that have improved my projects. I have found all of these little tips helpful, so I like to share them with you today. I initially did not use gloves and I was struggling, as you can see. Then later on in the video I used gloves for free motion quilting, and they worked really nice, give me a good grip of the material, and feel comfortable on my hands. All the informations are linked below, so please check it out. Now, I will show you some of the stencils I used in my project. I used 4 of them in different areas of my quilt. Please note, when you're working with stencils, it's important to pick out a right stencil. When you're just a beginner, please use a simple design, easy to follow, so you will be happy with the end effect. What you want to look for is a continuous line stencil for machine quilting. So this particular stencil, you'll see, I can trace my finger along, all the way round, and it will have the whole design. That's really helps. I am showing you the heat erasable pens for quilting, the link in below. Now the marking tools you use depends on your preference. It's 100% up to you. You can use a water-soluble pen or heat removal pen. Even mark with a bright chalk because that gonna contrast. This needs to be perfect for good for the fabric so that you can see the line. I also make sure I do set up for MOO projects. So the first thing I do is to check my machine, including my needle, and change my bobbin. So I marked my design on the quilt, and as you can see I used different color pencils, so I can see where the line is exactly on the quilt. Please take your time and try to follow the line exactly, but if you are not perfect, please do not stress about it. Just keep practicing and enjoy the project. So remember about continuous line stencil. And you want to look for one that has a design that you want to learn. Please like and subscribe to my channel. So you continue to follow the line. Take your time, please. I have done it several times before I was enough confident and did not use additional aid to help me follow the line. When you have a straight line, you can even use a ruler to help you out. As you can see, I am very careful. I complete first the center of the project and I make sure I follow the line. Then I will do the other part of the project, keeping in mind to always choose continuous line. I will watch my needle of the foot going on in the fabric. So for example, I am doing quilt that had blue, light brown and dark brown, so I marked that with a red and blue because that was gonna contrast with everything. The white would have not shown up on the white and the black would have not shown up on the dark brown, so sometimes you may need a couple of different colors to mark one quilt. And of course I forgot to mark my design, so I am doing it now. Things happen, so please do not get stressed about it. Going on in the fabric. So for example, I am doing quilt that had blue, light brown and dark brown, so I marked that with a red and blue because that was gonna contrast with everything. The white would have not shown up on the white and the black would have not shown up on the dark brown, so sometimes you may need a couple of different colors to mark one quilt. So you can see I am now doing a different design. This is the other stencil I used and is definitely good for the beginners, easy to follow, curved lines. I advise you to start from this stencil. This is a third stencil, which requires straight line, so I am helping myself with a ruler. And again you can see a different marking colors, so I can clearly see where the lines are. I have 5 different colors of marking pen to help me out. This is another design, nice and easy. I will repeat them on my quilt. And this is the finished project. My quilt is very big, so I had to repeat the patterns several times, but the end effect is absolutely amazing. Now I am using iron to help me dissolve the marked lines, and all will just disappear beautifully. I am very happy with the end effect. So now I am ready to work on the center of my quilt. I decided to make more of my own stencils, to make the quilt more interesting. The horse will be in the right center of my quilt, and the other 2 stencils on the left and right of the horse. It is very easy to make a stencil. I just printed the pattern, then laminated and cut the lines, and I can use my heat erasable marker pen to mark the line on the quilt. This is very easy. Now I will show you one already done. I marked all the pattern on the quilt, so I can see it when I take the quilt to the machine. Now I show you horse. I make the beautiful horse stencil. I will cut the all lines, make sure I have the gap, so I can use my marker pen. I will speed the process as I am sure you know how to do it. This requires patience and practice, but you get better every time. Although there are many quilting stencils ready-made and are available to buy, if you wish to do so, I think collecting a different stencil for every quilt can get expensive, and store-bought quilting stencils are rarely made from sustainable materials. Simply, they will not last long. Let's be honest, when you make your own quilting stencil, you can still make yourself a new one, very unique stencil for every quilt. Perhaps you can upcycle some plastic, laminate them like I did, or experiment with cardboard, is your choice and preference. You need to remember to cut all lines. Before using the stencil, check all lines, that you transfer every single line to the material. This will ease the quilting later on. Make sure you can use an erasable pen. You need to also think about size of your stencil. I think is the most important part of picking out a stencil is definitely choosing the right size stencil for the area you want to quilt. The design should fill the area completely or almost completely. As you can see, my area is quite big, so I used 3 stencils to fill the area completely. I also used 3 different colors of my Erasable pens, so I can see the lines perfectly. My another favorite marking tool is a various colors of water-soluble pen. I've tried many brands and they all work very similarly. These pens have a sturdy, long point that fits in the channel of the stencil. They have a good stream of ink and you can also see the marks well. They are removed easily with water. You can use a spray bottle filled with water to get rid of the marks from the washable pen. I always check all the lines before moving to another stencil. And if I missed some lines, then I will do the all corrections before moving on. As you can see, I keep changing the color of the pen, so all the lines are perfectly visible. I think this is a fun. This is another stencil I am using, and as you can see, I made it myself. Now is time to take the quilt to the machine. As you can see, I am using gloves for free motion quilting, and they worked really nice. Give me a good grip of the material and feel comfortable on my hands. All the informations are linked below, so please check it out. Please like and subscribe to my channel, that will help me a lot. And again I follow then line as close as I can, keeping in mind to continue line quilting, and try not to stop too often. If you make a mistake while you're stitching, stop sewing and go back to where the mistake first started. You can always remove the mistake later on. I wanted something simple for the border, so I used this stencil. It has continuous lines, you really don't need to stop at all, is perfect for the width of the border. When choosing a border stencil, you may have to adjust the size to fit your border. And this is how it looks like. Let's go back to the machine. I have my gloves. This is helping me a lot. We start from the corner and carry on with continuous line. Let's speed the process. Some border stencils like mine have a corner built into them so you can maintain the design all the way around the quilt's edge. Straight or curved line quilting with a walking foot is a beginner-friendly machine quilting technique. As you could see in the video, it produces even stitches and prevents fabric layers from shifting and bunching while you sewing. You can try stitching with your standard universal foot, but is more difficult. Thank you for watching.